Hi, my name's Linda. I'm 63 years old. Most people think I'm in my mid 40s, but anyway, I'm from Granite City, Illinois. That's where I grew up. I graduated high school in 1977. I came from a really good family. The family I grew up, unfortunately, they're all dead now, but I'm with a man that I'm very happy with, and he's from East St. Louis here, and that's where we live now, and we're trying to make a home here. Um,
How did you grow up, Miss Linda? Tell us about your childhood as far as your household and what kind of family you come from.
oh, it was great. It was awesome. My dad worked at the steel mill at US. It was called Granite City Steel at the time. Now it's US Steel. That's where my ex-husband worked for 35 years also. My dad worked there for 45 years. I had a brother and sister. My brother was a Granite City policeman. Um, my sister worked for a group of doctors, which that's what I ended up doing myself. I was the office manager for a group of cardiologists and a group of anesthesiologists. But anyway, back to my childhood. I had a great mom and dad. They were very loving. My mother also worked at Granite City Steel. She was the switchboard operator. That's back when they had the little plug, and eventually she had to learn how to use a computer, and everything was computerized, and she just thought she would never be able to do that. But it ended up she was the only receptionist that greeted everybody that came through the doors to see the higher ups on the top floor, the executives at US Steel now is what it's called. But she was a great mom, and she died like 2 years ago. And I really miss her, but I believe in what the good book says, so she's in a better place with the rest of my family. Someday I'll be there with them.
What schools did you go to growing up?
I went to Frohart Elementary School. I went to Coolidge Junior High and Granite City High School South, because the high school divided. There was north and south.
Did you graduate?
Yes,
What
1977.
What did you do after high school?
Well, right after I graduated from high school, I worked at, it's closed down now, but it was called First Granite City Savings and Loan. I worked there for 7 years and realized they weren't paying enough. But they did supply us, all of us girls, with uniforms, so you didn't have to think about what to wear. And then I just started thinking that my time was worth more than they were giving me, so I went across the river to Christian Hospital Northeast and got hired as an office manager for a group of cardiologists. And I worked there for a couple of years, and I used to be a competitive bodybuilder, and I was doing that at the time. And at the time the Olympics was going on, so they asked if I would be in this monthly little flyer that the hospital had put out called Cheer. And I agreed. And at the time, my last name was Bell, and Linda Bell. And so they had just hired a new chief and director of anesthesiology. His name was Stephen Bell. And I didn't know him. We were both featured in this monthly Cheer little magazine flyer, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I had to go to Christian Northwest Hospital to pick up charge slips that the doctors filled out. So I had to drive, And at the time, I wasn't in the office, and Stephen Bell came up to the office wanting to talk to me. And the girls about died because he was so good looking, and he drove a Porsche. He was really cute. So he said, just tell Linda that her brother Stephen came. He wasn't my brother. Anyway, I went down, when I got the message, I went down to anesthesiology and talked with him, and he offered me $5 more an hour to be his office manager. So yeah, I agreed, and I gave my I believe I said 2 weeks, but they said I could, go in a week because the other girls hated me because I was white. They were black. I don't see color like that.
What year was this?
This was, let me think. I graduated in 77. I worked at the Savings and Loan. This was like in the mid 80s, yeah. So anyway, when I was the office manager for the group of anesthesiologists, eventually I had to hire someone, and I had never really, I waited on people at the Savings and Loan that were black, but I'd never ever really just personally talked to a black person in my life because my mom and dad were kind of prejudiced, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of makes me sick to admit that, but that's just how times were back then in Granite City. In fact, black people weren't even allowed in Granite City after dark, which I find ridiculous now. The house where my husband and I shared, there was a black person, several black neighbors, which I welcomed. I don't see color like that. In fact, my fiance is black, and I love him.
So, how did you meet your husband?
Which one?
Well,
I was married 2 times. The first time I was married to a firefighter, John Bell. Second husband, I'm still legally married to, but we haven't been together for 1.5 years. It's just taking a while to, agree on who gets what. We had a house in Florida that we sold, so we've already divided those assets. House in Granite City, that's done. But he inherited a house in Mitchell, and that's like on the outskirts of Granite City. And his sister passed away. He inherited that, so we're kind of feuding over that. I was living there with him for a while, separate bedrooms, because he allowed my fiance, I know it's crazy. I'm not quite divorced yet, but I'm already engaged. But like I said, I've been separated from Dennis for 1.5 years, and God put Malachi in my pathway, and I'm totally crazy about him.
Children?
3. I have my oldest son is a radiologist. He's a medical doctor. He's 30. Is today the 11th of February? It is? Either today or tomorrow. I don't know if it's the 10th or the 11th. I haven't checked my calendar yet. My daughter, her birthday is on February 11th. Gosh, I gotta buy her something. When they get that, she is 28. If today is the 11th, I'm thinking I have to buy her something, but a card with money in it, I'm sure, is what she would want, because when they get to be a certain age, they don't want mama picking out anything. They want to pick out their own stuff.
So how did you end up in East St. Louis, and what challenges have you faced in East St. Louis?
I ended up in East St. Louis because Malachi inherited not really inherited. Okay, the house is there for whoever needs it, and we need it right now. It belonged to his aunt, so now it belongs to his cousin, am I saying that right? His aunt's daughter. And we spoke with her, and she's more than happy to let us stay there for as long as we need it. So we're saving up money, trying to get our own place,
Are you working currently?
No, I'm not, but I've got applications out there all over the place. In fact, there's a dry cleaner that is basically across the street from us that I applied at, and I think I have a pretty good chance at that. They said they needed people, but I'll find out on Monday.
How long have you been out of work?
Well, for a while. I raised my kids, and they're all grown now, but I am on Social Security, so I get Social Security and I get spousal. I get half of what he gets too. So I have a decent income. You know, that's not really the problem. We're looking more for Malachi a job. I mean, I would work, but like I said, I have an income, so I'd rather him work. I'm retired. I'm 63. He's 43. He's 20 years younger than me, so.
When is the wedding date?
Oh, I don't know. There's the ring. He did put a ring on it.
Where did you guys meet?
We met at the Casino Queen. My ex-husband, although it's not legally official yet, but in my mind, he's my ex. The day that he told me he didn't want me anymore, which I really didn't want him anymore. I don't want to say a whole lot about him because I respect the man he is. Things just didn't work. We grew apart. The day that he told me he didn't want me anymore, I told him, and I wasn't crying about it, if you don't want me, somebody else will. And so I got myself all fixed up. Unfortunately, I'm not all fixed up right now. This is raw. But I got myself all fixed up. I did my hair, I did my makeup, I put on a pretty dress and some low heels. I can't wear high heels anymore. And went to the Casino Queen, won a jackpot. I won $1,680 the day he said this to me, which who could imagine something like that would happen? And then my second jackpot, I ran into Malachi literally. I won that jackpot, thankfully, at closing time, so I didn't have time to put any more back in. But across the river was the Lumiere, now called the Horseshoe. So I was leaving, looking for my daughter, and I was walking toward the exit, and Malachi was walking toward me. And I still, well, just like now, I have a little money in my hand. I had a big old fistful of money. I had $1,680. And Malachi smiled at me, and I said, I just won a jackpot. And he's like, I can see that. And he jokingly said, can I borrow $5? And I'm like, no, but you could have. And I gave him the $80. And he about hit the floor because at the time he was homeless. And he said nobody had ever done anything like that for him before. And I mean, this man has had his highs and lows. He was very successful. He's a gospel singer, songwriter, rapper. In fact, I have to put this out there. He was in a band called Gideon's Army that actually toured and did concert events. They were successful. His name is Malachi Williams. I'm going to say his whole name so people can maybe look him up on YouTube. He's got one song, if you look up Malachi Lil Wayne, the song is called How to Live. It's got the melody of Lil Wayne's song How to Love, but How to Live instead. Passion to Christ is the video of the background featuring Malachi singing alone. But if you look up Gideon's Army, all kinds of songs, and Malachi wrote all the songs. He's written probably 350 songs. It just comes out of him. Anyway, enough of Malachi.
So, in closing, because we appreciate the time you spent with us, we really appreciate it. If there's anything you want to say to anybody who might be looking for you, who might be wondering where you are, what you're doing, what you're up to, now's the time to say.
Okay. Happy birthday, Ashley. I love you. Kyle, my doctor's son, I love you. Jacob, my youngest son, he's in heating and air conditioning. They're all pretty successful. I'm very proud of them. I'm in East St. Louis on Bond Avenue. I'll send you my address. But I love y'all, and be safe and be careful. Love you.